Fellow Southern Cameroonians and Ambazonians, my heart is extremely heavy this morning. I am devastated and completely shattered at the magnitude of Yaoundé's evil visited upon our people yesterday, whilst we peacefully commemorated October 1st, 1961. Even whilst they were talking on television panels, pretending to be talking about the virtues of unity and how we came to join them in 1961 on October 1, they were killing us. They killed our children. They brought them down with cold blood. What wickedness. Terrible. Our heart is heavy. The nation is in deep grief and mourning. How can the world allow this to happen to a people? A people that is recognized as a people by all international standards set out by the United Nations itself. How can this happen? How could we have suffered a second internet outage, shutdown, complete, and the world sits quiet? How can they even take out electricity so that they may hide the evidence of their carnage, and the world sits quiet? How can this be happening in the 21st century? In a world that is said to be a global village? Is globalization all about the world agreeing on how to despoil us, enslave us, loot our territory, deprive us of what we have as a heritage, as an endowment from the Lord? Is that globalization? That the entire planet is agreed that Southern Cameroonians should forever become slaves? Is this what the world is all about? I just can't bring myself to accept this and to believe this. Our people cannot believe this, that this is happening. Dear people, the Governing Council has been in permanent session for the past 72 hours. And last night we met to take stock of the shame, of the brutality, of the barbarism, of the sheer wickedness, outright wickedness and indifference. Wickedness on the part of Yaoundé and indifference on the part of the world. Their silence is disturbing. Yesterday's Governing Council came out with a number of resolutions which we are going to follow strictly. First is that the 3rd and the 4th of October are declared days of national mourning in Southern Cameroon and Ambazonia. We have to mourn and pray for our children who fell yesterday and who fell on the 30th. For no other reason but for daring to go out to assert that we are human beings. We have to mourn for our mothers who have been killed. Our grandmother who was brutally brought down. Horrible, horrifying and terrifying, terrible deeds from Yaoundé. Who would have believed that they would call their bluff? Today, the 2nd of October, specially appointed teams are visiting all countries where our people are present to deposit in their foreign offices our declaration of independence restoration, and to let the world know that Southern Cameroon is now under occupation. We are under siege. Dear people, an emergency conclave of the Governing Council and a team of experts has been convened, and we shall be meeting in a fortnight. In the meantime, we shall be engaged in total diplomatic offensives. The law firm is going to use even what has happened to us yesterday to present to the world, and we shall be presenting it to the world, that this is evidence. This is evidence that we cannot continue. We cannot continue in the present dispensation. We cannot continue. Dear people, yesterday, October 1st, in spite of the carnage, the killing of our children, killing and carrying away some to hide evidence, we saw them looting them, depositing them in their vans, and taking them away to hide. But it was too late for them, because there was one problem God solved for us. Our children who have acquired little education that we could give them managed to break the internet shutdown, and we got the images, and the world now has the images. They can't hide it anymore. There is no way they can hide it. They were even caught carrying corpses away. They can't hide it anymore. They are exposed. And I trust God, the Lord who called me into this trouble, that this is the end of the matter. That from now hence He is going to start opening the doors. October 1 cannot go for nothing. If you turn out in those numbers to affirm your desire to be free, then there is one thing the governing council is asking you to do from now henceforth. Boycott all colonial structures in our land. Nobody should go to the governor's offices, colonial governor's offices, SDO's and DO's offices for whatsoever. Nobody should take any matter whatsoever to the colonial offices of the police, to the colonial gendarmerie. Nobody should go there with any problem whatsoever. During these days, our people are called to be more than disciplined, to express all the virtue in them, and not to get involved in any acts that would necessitate that they go to the DO, the colonial DO, the colonial police, or the colonial courts that are not serving us. We should boycott them to the extent that they will know that they are no longer relevant. This boycott must be executed, and we are asking our people to watch against those who shall violate these boycotts. We are asking school proprietors to resist the temptation. You have seen with us, if you were able to access social media, the level of anger amongst our children. They are spoiling to fight even with their bare arms. It is by the grace of God that we shall be able to restrain them. And therefore we call on you not to fall into the temptation whatsoever to open the doors of your schools. For whosoever, we call on you to give respect to our children, our sons who have fallen, to our grandmother who fell. In honor of them, keep those schools shut. Do not provoke the boys. Do not provoke our children who have died. Otherwise, the blood of these will forever fall on your heads. While we get engaged in serious diplomatic offensives, and while we wait for the governing council to meet in a fortnight, let us continue in prayer. Let us observe serious restraint and not yield to any further provocation from the enemy. We trust in God that the doors will be opened. The doors will be opened. The blood of close to 50 children killed in cold blood cannot and shall not go in vain. Let us greatly encourage ourselves and tell ourselves and resolve that there is no turning back whatsoever. There is no turning back whatsoever. And I believe that the God who called me, the God who called me, will not abandon me. The God who ordained this struggle will not abandon Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. He said 2017, we are only traveling. We will get there. Dear people, be strong and be steadfast. Do not be discouraged, even as we mourn. It is well.